Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Wayne County. My name is Tim Briner. I'll be your worship associate today. We are a diverse congregation that welcomes you as you are, regardless of your age, ethnicity, race, sexual orientation, gender identity, economic status, or physical ability. We come together to seek deeper meaning and understanding from each other and the world around us. Your presence here today is a gift that brings us closer to that understanding. We are an active community that lives its values beyond the hours of Sunday service. I would like to call your attention to the following. From social action. This month, let's focus on Thanksgiving needs for people to people. For example, dessert mixes, gravy, instant potatoes, cranberry sauce, broth, and so on. And staying warm for homeward bound. For example, long sleeve t-shirts, socks, gloves, hats, warm undies, etc. We're offering a Journey to Membership class on Saturday, October 18th. For those who are new to Unitarian Universalism or would like to learn about the path to membership at our congregation, Reverend Walter will give attendees a chance to share their spiritual history, learn about Unitarian Universalist justice and governance work, and explain the advantages and disadvantages and responsibilities of being a member. If interested, please sign up with Karen by October 12th.
We can work on that. We'll talk.
Thank you. It's time for our fall campfire. Come join us on Saturday, October 18th at 6:45 p.m. at our labyrinth in the back parking lot to catch the sunset, paint pumpkins, and enjoy each other's company around a campfire. More details can be found on flyers in the lobby. If you would like to find out more information about our activities, feel free to ask Karen Skubik, our membership coordinator.
Thank you, Tim, and good morning, everyone. It seems like there's a lot of things happening right now at our fellowship, which is great. It's good to see all of you. A few of you I've handed these little slips to, and I might give it to a few more folks that are still relatively new, or although anyone is really welcome to meet with Reverend Walter. Today is a UU Curious Coffee with Reverend Walter after the service, maybe about 15 minutes after, in his office. And it's meant for people to ask a few more questions about Unitarian Universalism or our fellowship. And he would love to have folks join him down there. You can grab a cup of coffee first and head down. So if you have any more questions, you can check with me after the service. I'll be in the back of the sanctuary. And welcome, everyone.
Y'all are a good-looking bunch. Yeah, I'm so glad to have you come in and warm up your spirit on these chilly October days. Anyone's spirit in need of a little warmth? Yeah, I'm gonna need a little warmth. I was thinking about this. I feel like I have been giving the same sermon over and over and over again for the past 6 weeks. And I hate to disappoint you, but I'm going to do it again. Because I don't know about you, but I feel like we are at a tipping point right now. I feel that there is something very important that our faith centers on that the world needs. And we're going to be talking about it today in detail. Anyone want to know what our theme for the month is? Anyone know what it is? Compassion. Anyone know the root of the word compassion? Where are my Latin scholars? This is not the UU congregation I'm used to. I am used to all the Latin and everybody. Okay. The good thing is we're going to talk about the etymology, because there's not a good UU service if we don't break down the history of a word. And we're going to talk about how compassion is deeply tied to humanity and has been for millennia. And how we need to remember to lean into that now more than ever. Yes, Dawn. She doesn't know Latin, but does it have to do something? I cannot give you spoilers until after the sermon. Just wait, it's coming. In the meantime, this is your hour. This is your time to be in community that loves and holds and supports you. This is your time where I encourage you to take a deep breath. Try to let the work of the week go. I'm looking at you especially. Can I say who you are for people who don't know? We have a UU minister in the house right now, Will Humphrey at East Shore near Cleveland, who is another UU minister. And some of you may know Will because his family attends here. Will, you are a UU minister that I respect greatly, and I aspire to be a lot of what you do. You are a fantastic person, and you carry our faith into the future, as do you all. Open your hearts, quiet your minds, put your cell phones into worship mode, and join us now in this hour together.
We invite the congregation to sing with us if you know the song.
Ah
Our chalice lighting this morning is With Dirt on Our Hands by Reverend David Breeden. Come into this moment as if stepping into a garden at dawn. Let compassion be the flower we bend forward. We bend toward. We return as if returning to the soil, hands in the dirt, willing to tend what needs tending. Here today, we gather to remember that the most delicate blooms require daily care. That attention is the water of love, that we are still learning how to care. Come, let us begin again in love, tending the garden of the heart in the heart of compassion. Let us now rise in body or spirit as we sing our opening hymn, Here We Have Gathered. The music can be found in the gray hymnal, number 360.
Good morning. Would any of you, it looks mostly like guys back there, want to come up for the story? Or not? What about you lovely ladies? We had a last minute change. Kelly wanted to take a day off. Where do you guys like to sit, down there? Or I'm not going to be good on the floor. Well, thanks for coming up. I appreciate that. Did someone want to peek in the Wonder Box for me and see? Oh, look at your woolly mammoth. You want to, Hawthorne? Oh, saw Hawthorne. Hi, good morning, Sebastian. Hi, Theo. Hawthorne, you want to go ahead and peek what's in there and share it with me? Thanks for interrupting. What are you guys doing, drawing back there? A book, thank you very, very much. Adrian Simcox does not have a horse. And something that's really interesting about this book, it's written by Marcy Campbell. And when they were your age, well, no, not Marcy, excuse me, she and her husband attended here. And they had kids. They had a boy and a girl, Lillian Whitaker. And they attended our church. So it's kind of cool that we have an author in the house but they went through religious exploration, religious education like you guys did. So Marcy's a local author, and it looks like Karina did the artwork. So Adrian Simcox does not have a horse. Adrian Simcox sits by himself, probably daydreaming again. And Adrian Simcox tells everyone who will listen that it's up there, that he has a horse. Modern technology. Some kids believe him, but I don't. He lives in town like me, and I know you can't have a horse in town. Where would he put it? I asked Jamie at recess. Jamie said Adrian lives with his grandpa, and their house is very small, and there's hardly any yard. She said, the horse goes to the country sometimes. That's what Adrian said. Ha! Jamie will believe anything. I told my mom about, were you wanting to see? Hey there. I told my mom about Adrian's horse and how he definitely does not have one. She said. And how would you know, Miss Smarty Pants? Because I know Adrian Simcox does not have a horse. Adrian Simcox gets the free lunch at school. His shoes have holes. Kelsey told me her cousin has a horse, and it's super expensive. He can't take care of a horse. Adrian Simcox can't even take care of his own desk. Our teacher always says, we must try to be understanding. We have to be patient. But I was tired of being patient with Adrian Simcox and tired of trying to understand why he kept telling everybody he had a horse when he did not. The next day by the swings, he was telling a bunch of little kids about his beautiful horse with its white coat and golden mane and saying she had the biggest, brownest eyes of any horse anywhere. So I yelled from the monkey bars, he's lying. Adrian Simcox does not have a horse. And even though I was upside down, I could see that made Adrian Simcox really sad. That night, I told my mom how Adrian was lying about his horse again, and she said, Chloe, it's time to take Chompers for his walk. A little dog is a perfectly normal pet to have in town. Mom walked even faster than usual, so I had to run with Chompers to keep up. But when she got to the corner where we always turned left, she turned right. Why are we going over here? I asked. Chompers loved it, but I didn't. All the houses looked like they might fall down, and even though it wasn't trash day, it looked like it was. But Mom kept walking. When someone said evening, she said evening right back. And then I saw him, Adrian Simcox, at a little house down the street. I stopped walking. Chompers kept pulling. That's Adrian Simcox, I said. Yes, I know. I met his grandpa at the back-to-school picnic. Now, come on, said Mom. It was the tiniest house I ever saw, and it was like half of our house. Mom started talking to Adrian's grandpa, and Adrian said, I like your dog. Chompers pulled the leash from my hand and went over and licked Adrian Simcox right on the face. I could see the backyard. There is no place for a horse for sure. I could feel some words coming up in my throat and tangling in there, like when I swallow something and it went down the wrong pipe. You do not have a horse. But I didn't say it because of how Adrian was looking and how it reminded of me when I told those little kids he was lying. Adrian Simcox tossed a ball to me. I caught it. I tossed it back to him. was kind of cool to see Adrian Simcox smile. So I asked him, "Is your horse at a farm?" And Adrian Simcox started talking about his horse with a white coat and a golden mane and the biggest, brownest eyes of any horse anywhere. And then I thought, Adrian Simcox had just about the best imagination of any kid in our whole school. I also thought he had the most beautiful horse of anyone, anywhere. The end. Yeah, do you see that? Do you see the horse? Charlie said it's like outlined, it's on the white fence. I don't have a pointer. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the illustrator worked with Marcy Campbell and did that. So you can write the words and be an author, or you can be an artist. But yeah, you can see his imaginary horse up there. You still don't see the horse? Well, here. Yeah, here, it's on the fence, maybe a little closer. You see it now? Does everybody see it now? Okay, if it was a, yeah, oh, it's on the cover too. Oh, okay, this jacket sleeve. You guys are so observant. I'm just up here nervous as can be trying to get through this book. Well, let's think about that and the imagination as we go to RE classes. And we talk a little bit about compassion and see how we can tie the meaning of compassion into this. So we'll sing the kids out now, I believe. Thank you, everyone.
It's hard to see the horse. Take a deep breath. Feel where the tension is. And breathe it out. I encourage you, if it's comfortable, to put your feet square on the floor. If you can, let your hands rest in your lap. Let your eyes go soft. And breathe deep. Sometimes we are so sure there is no horse. Sometimes we are so sure what the perspective of another is, what their reality is. Coming from our perspective, we insist there is no horse. But then we visit. Then we take the time to learn about the life of another. We take a moment to share a little bit of ourselves, to ask the curious question, to put our guard down for a moment, to want to know another. And in that moment, what seems like a wall, simple and white, can be something majestic and creative and connective. If we take a moment, we can see the horse. let us remember that each one of us has a perspective. Each one of us has a humanity. And if we take a moment to get to know the other, we can find a commonality. And we can share their humanity. And they will see ours as well. Breathe deep. There is love and humanity all around you. Remember that this community of love is here for you. May it always be so. We come into this place every week carrying our own burdens, our own sorrows. And this is our hour to let them down. If there is something that is weighing on your mind this week, something that is hard for you to carry on your own, as we sing Spirit of Life, I encourage you to take one of our stones. Put that worry on this stone just for that moment and let it fall into the water and let it be washed away, at least for the duration of our time here. And if there is something that brings you joy, please share it. Joy is in short supply, and we would love to celebrate with you. Put that joy on the stone, place it in the water, and let it ripple out to the congregation so that we may celebrate with you. As we sing Spirit of Life with our joys and sorrows ritual, I will be here. If you would like to meet with me throughout the week, let me know. We'll set up a time after service. If you want to wait till after service at the receiving line, I will be glad to talk to you then. We also have members from our lay pastoral care team. Cheryl, I don't think Steve is here today. And Sue, who would be glad to meet with you. They are wonderful listening presence. Please join us now in singing Spirit of Life and doing our joys and sorrows ritual.
Our faith is centered on the belief that we can make this world a better place for all who dwell in it. In order to realize that vision, we need both the motivation and the means. Your donation helps the community put its faith into action by supporting our programming and facilities. Each month, we choose an agency to receive half of the donations that are not designated for another purpose. In October, we will share the plate with Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is a nonprofit organization that provides a variety of reproductive health services and sexual education, contributes to research in reproductive technology, and advocates for the protection and expansion of reproductive rights. Planned Parenthood's central mission is to help people live full, healthy lives, no matter your income, insurance, gender identity, sexual orientation, race, or immigration status. The Planned Parenthood motto is care no matter what. For those who are watching online or who do not carry cash, you can donate on our website by scanning the QR code in the order of service and on the screen. The offering will now be collected and gratefully received. Please join me in this unison reading. The words are on the screen. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts with us, for the giving. Let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we learn from the generosity of others. First reading is a quote by Rabbi Esther Adler. Compassion in Hebrew is rakamim. Rakamim is a plural form of the word rekem, meaning womb. And so, our sages say that compassion is like a mother's love for her child. But I think that is completely missing the point. First, rekem is womb, not mother. The womb does not love. The womb sustains and protects the unborn baby simply because that is what it does. Also, the womb connects the baby to the mother in a most intimate way, perhaps the most intimate connection two separate beings can have. The relationship is not symbiotic, though. The womb gives, the baby receives. From this perspective, then, rakamim, or being womb-like, means being connected to another being in an intimate, sustained way without expectation of anything in return. Rakamim is not a feeling like sympathy or empathy. It is a deep connection to another human that moves us to act in ways that are sustaining to that person. Rachim, compassion, is not a feeling. It is a choice. It is a choice to acknowledge our shared humanity, no matter how I may feel about you.
So the very first time I went to the Unitarian Universalists Association's General Assembly was in 2011. And I had been warned. I was told, this event is life-changing. You are gonna love GA. It is going to change your life to be with all of these Unitarian Universalists from all across the globe. And let's be honest, it was mostly people on the East Coast, sharing inspirational workshops and worship services. Walter, wait until you see the majesty of the Living Tradition service. It is fantastic. And to watch our governance in action is inspiring. But most importantly, I was told the cannot miss event of General Assembly is the Ware Lecture. We have speakers come in from all across the country. It will change your life. Look, folks, to say I was skeptical would be an understatement. I'd been to national religious conventions before. I don't know if you knew this, I grew up Lutheran. I was president of my youth group, and they sent me to their big national convention in San Antonio, and it was all right. A couple neat things, but it was not life-changing, and I wasn't thinking General Assembly would be any different. The good news is it was better than I expected. Honestly, my expectations were pretty low. Yes, the service of the Living Tradition was really good, and it's still my favorite part of every General Assembly. The workshops were hit and miss. You learn pretty quickly that you go to a workshop based on who's doing the workshop, not the content of the workshop. The governance sessions were confusing at first for someone who doesn't fully understand Robert's rules of order. But once I started to understand, they became less confusing and much more frustrating. But let's face it, it's going to be frustrating when you have a faith and a governance that works on trying to be cooperative and inclusive. You're going to have some frustrating moments, but in the end, you have a process that is very inclusive. It can be annoying, but it's worth it. We have to live into our values. Then there was the Ware Lecture, 2011. Anybody go to GA in 2011? It was in Charlotte. Okay. Anybody know who Karen Armstrong is? Well, Karen Armstrong was the woman who did the Ware Lecture. Karen Armstrong is an author. She writes a lot of books about religion. Islam, A Short History. Buddha. The Bible. The Case for God. She's a really good writer. This is from my personal library, and I know for a fact we have quite a few Karen Armstrong books in our library here. But in 2011, Karen Armstrong had just published a book the year previously called 12 Steps to a Compassionate Life. And of course, after the Ware Lecture, copies are available in the lobby for purchase. Her lecture was about the idea of compassion and how it affects religion, and how we can find the idea of compassion expressed in all of the world's major religions: Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, all of which have some variation of that golden rule, which is... Okay, maybe we didn't rehearse that. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Anybody know the Bible verse off the top of your head? Matthew 7:14. All right. Yeah. I have this job where I had to read the Bible. Right? And this is 2011. This is 2 years before I go into seminary. I got news for you. The idea that the golden rule was in all of the world's religions was not news to me at that time. I had done enough research into religion to know that pretty much the golden rule is universal, pun intended. That isn't what blew me away about the lecture. It was her definition of what compassion is. This is a fairly long quote, so hold on for the ride. She says, "What is compassion? I think the word has so fallen out of our lexicon that people are confused about it. In English, people often think it means pity or feeling sorry for people. I gave a lecture in Holland a couple years ago, and even though I specifically said that compassion does not mean feeling sorry for people, in the Dutch translation of my lecture in the newspaper, every time I mentioned compassion, it was translated as pity. It's sort of ingrained in us. Or people think it's a touchy-feely thing. Kumbaya. But in fact, it demands so constantly that we dethrone ourselves from the center of our world, both on an individual, a communal, and a political level, and put another there." Continuing her quote. Now, compassion, our word comes from a Greek-Latin root, calm, Pathian in Greek, and that means to endure something with another person. That means putting yourself in other people's shoes and not just seeing things from your own blinkered and often self-interested perspectives. But in other faiths, the word compassion gives us another kind of insight. In Arabic and in Hebrew, too, it's related to rachamim, which is related etymologically to the word for womb. End quote. When I first attended that GA, my definition of compassion was exactly as Karen Armstrong described it initially. It was this very soft, sympathetic, and anemic term. There wasn't any action behind compassion. It was very much for me, as she said, synonymous with pity. And the only time I ever really remember the word compassion being bandied about in like 2010 and before was when George W. Bush was running for president. Compassionate conservatism. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of caring for someone but not doing anything about it. That's what compassion felt like. It was being nice, but not going out of your way. It was pity, but pity that wasn't strong enough to be actionable. Compassion demands so constantly that we dethrone ourselves from the center of our world, both on an individual, communal, and a political level, and to put another there, Armstrong said. Compassion isn't just sympathy. It isn't just concern about the life of another. To have compassion is to put yourself fully into their perspective, to work deeply to understand that perspective, that pain, to work to see their horse. To have compassion is to make the suffering of another yours as well. It is to feel with. Armstrong, in her lecture, went a little further into that whole womb definition of rachamim. However, she did exactly what our reading warned us about in confusing and conflating womb with mother. However, Karen Armstrong's opinion of motherhood in this was a little dark for my taste. She talks about how you have to care for this child even when you're exhausted and tired and haven't slept, and you're putting everything in your own life aside, hoping that this child that you are bringing up and caring for will turn out to be a half-decent person and probably disappointing you at some level. It's a wonderful view of motherhood that a lot of people who don't have children like to make fun of. And for those of us who have kids, go, And, as all of us who parent know, despite all of that, all of the frustration, you don't give up. You keep at it. And with that perspective, she was very much in line with Rabbi Adler and this idea that we need to connect with others in an intimate and in a sustaining way without the expectation of getting anything in return. Both of them hold tightly to the idea that compassion is what motivates us to action. It's what motivates us to remove the suffering of others, even if we do not benefit from removing that suffering. Compassion is more than just a feeling. To have compassion is a call to action. Can we go back to the golden rule for just a minute? Anybody have an idea how long that's been around? We're going to give you a couple quotes that are golden rule based. Quote, "Do not to others what you do not wish done to yourself, and wish for others too what you desire and long for yourself. This is the whole of Dharma. Heed it well. This comes from India, 400 years before Christ. Here's another one. What is hateful to you, do not do to your fellow. This is the whole Torah. The rest is the explanation. Go and learn. This is from Hillel the Elder, some 30 years before the Jesus of Nazareth. The story, I love the story of this quote. The story is, somebody said to him, I will convert to Judaism if you can tell me the whole of the Torah while standing on your foot, 1 foot. And the guy does that, says that sentence, and says, there you go. I love those stories. From Muhammad. As you would have people do to you, do to them. And what you dislike to be done to you, don't do to them. Buddhism. The one, while himself seeking happiness, oppresses with violence other beings also desire happiness and will not attain happiness there. Let me read that again. That was a little weird. One who, while himself seeking happiness, oppresses with violence other beings who also desire happiness, will not attain happiness thereafter. Jainism. A man should wander about treating all creatures as he himself would be treated. Sikhism. Precious like jewels are the minds of all. To hurt them is not at all good. If thou desirest thy beloved, then hurt thou not anyone's heart. Taoism. The sage has no interest of his own, but takes the interests of other people as his own. He is kind to the kind. He is also kind to the unkind. For virtue is kind. He is faithful to the faithful. He is also faithful to the unfaithful. For virtue is faithful. And my last quote comes from Greg M. Epstein. Who? Humanist chaplain at Harvard University. Do unto others is a concept that essentially no religion misses entirely. But not a single one of these versions of the Golden Rule requires a God. Ooh, nice reaction. Each one of these aphorisms have one thing in common. They are a call to action. They are a call to do good for others, or at the very least, a call to not actively harm another. Each one of these philosophies stem from the idea that the welfare of others is key to survival. Each one of these ideals speaks to understanding the perspective of another and working for their benefit. Each one of these ideals, of these iterations of the Golden Rule, is the idea that compassion needs to be made real. And for thousands of years, humanity has understood this at some level. For thousands of years, humanity has understood that we need to take care of those who suffer. For thousands of years, humanity has understood that we need to put aside our own greed and our own selfishness and do the work to help others without any expectation of anything in return. Why? Because it is the human thing to do. But in reality, we do get something from compassion. We do get something for helping out the other. I apologize because I keep bringing this quote up, but it is one of my favorite quotes, and it is from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And it's from his essay, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community. From time immemorial, men have lived by the principle that self-preservation is the first law of life, but this is a false assumption. I would say that other preservation is the first law of life. It is the first law of life precisely because we cannot preserve self without being concerned about preserving other selves. It is the universe is so structured that things go awry if men are not diligent in their cultivation of other regarding dimension. I cannot reach fulfillment without thou. The self cannot be self without other self. Self-concern without other concern is like a tributary that has no outward flow to the ocean, stagnant, still, and stale. It lacks both life and freshness. Nothing would be more disastrous and out of harmony with our self-interest than for the developed nations to travel the dead-end road of inordinate selfishness. We are in the fortunate position of having our deepest sense of morality coalesce with our self-interest. End quote. Compassion helps us all. It is what reminds us of our interdependence, our connection, our shared humanity. I'm going to be honest, when I was looking through all of those quotes about the Golden Rule, I went through our bylaws to see where the Golden Rule is in Article 2. It's not there technically, but reading deep, interdependence and equity, when you combine those things together, understanding that helping each other out, working and understanding that connection and wanting to bring them equality, to bring them equity, that is to do unto others. When we see others suffer, if we allow ourselves to truly put ourselves into that position, we work to end that suffering. And I have trouble every morning scrolling through the news and allowing myself to feel what is going on. And if you see the clip of the news reporter getting detained by ICE, to listen to her cries, the woman who was picking up her children from school, who was detained. I could not allow myself to feel it in that moment. Do you know why? Because I don't think I'd get back up. And we have so many people who are cutting off from that. And I get it. We need to. How many of you are suffering from compassion fatigue? Yeah. I hear that. I do. And we have to allow ourselves to feel it, because if we don't act. We see the people who are doing all of the things. I love the guy in the turtle outfit in Portland. I love the fact that people in Portland are doing everything they can and being as silly as they can to show the silliness of what is going on. They're putting themselves in danger. They're maybe having a little fun with it, but they're feeling the urgency. To see some of our leaders and mayor of Chicago talk about all of the stances they will make, I feel with them. And I know you all feel it too. I've told a few people this morning, I feel like I've been giving the same sermon for 6 weeks now. That we need to hold the center of love. That we need to be able to feel what is going on in this moment. Because if we don't, we will not act. And I know right now that the action seems immense. Who's the one person here who's going to be able to fix our government for us? Yeah, ain't going to be me. And You can't be lulled into complete complacency. I see little bits of action from each and every one of you. I see little bits of action every time there's a No More Kings rally. I always like to joke, every No More Kings rally, I think we could hold a congregational meeting. I think we have a quorum. I love going to the College of Worcester and seeing the students talk about what they're experiencing. I like to see that they're feeling the moment. And I know on Thursday we have a group of people who work at the Trinity Breakfast Kitchen. They're feeling what's going on for the people who are unhoused. They're allowing themselves to feel. They're allowing themselves to connect. That's compassion. I'm hearing somebody who was telling me today, oh my gosh, it's so frustrating working in the kitchen here because I want to make all this food for Homeward Bound and it's not my kitchen. I sympathize with you and I see you doing the work. I see you allowing yourself to feel what is going on. In those 1,000 little moments of defiance, of standing up to things that go into hatred, into isolation, to stand up in those smallest and bravest of moments is to live in compassion. And right now, I need us all to never stop. Your hour here is your moment to rest. Your Saturday night here singing karaoke is your moment to rest. I'm really sorry I missed that. You're taking an hour to watch your favorite shows on Netflix. It's your hour to rest. That's your time to rest. Please do. Please fill your cup. And keep feeling. Keep feeling. Don't lose that. Even though we are all exhausted from the fresh horrors that seem to infiltrate our lives every single day, we need to feel what is happening. We need to have that compassion and that love for the other. We need compassion in our lives for all people. All of the religions of the world agree on this. That's something. It not only is something they believe, it's what I believe makes us human. I believe compassion is what will save us all. Please, may it be so. Let us sing. Please, my friends, rise in body or spirit as we sing our closing hymn, One More Step. My dreams, okay. My dreams. My dream is that for you all to love deeply. My dream is that this hurts you a little bit. My dream is that you feel what is going on in this world. And my dream is that it calls you to action. No matter how big, no matter how small. I don't need you to follow ICE agents around, but maybe I do need you to write your congressman. Maybe I need you to vote. Maybe I need you to serve the local soup kitchen. Maybe I just need you to be kind and to feel with, to try to understand the other, to try and see that horse. Friends, we are all connected, and we are not going to get out of this situation if we continue to hate each other, if we continue to dehumanize. Love hard. That is what we need now more than ever. May it be so.